You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net and cbgtv.com. I'm Al Graham, and this is Tamara Cartwright over here, and she's on time.
I am. Racing in at the last minute again.
Yeah. Well, no,
I'm racing around like I'm out doing all day instead. See my face?
Yes.
I'm starting to get a bit of a tan from running around outside and packing. I'm getting some muscles. Yeah.
Oh. Well, you said something to me just before we went live. It was 27 degrees where you were today. Were you at work? Wow.
It was 27 degrees here in Cranbrook today. You bet. And then you're in a greenhouse, add another 20 degrees on top of that. Some in and out. Then you're packing fertilizer and bags of soil, and I'm getting fit.
Yes,
and I'm getting
yeah.
out on my face. I don't have any pants. I'm wearing jeans. I wear jeans and t-shirts to work. I just can't bring myself to wear the shorts I've got. I don't think it'd be appropriate. So.
Well, if you're handling big bags of food, like dog food or whatever, grain bags, you probably want to keep pants on anyways. I don't know.
Yeah, and you got to pack a radio. I got a walkie-talkie on my hip, and I got a notebook in my back, and my phone, and yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd try to wear the pants as long as you could until it got too hot.
Yeah. I was sweating.
Yeah, today, and wearing shorts. If you're carrying all that stuff on your belt loop, it's hard to keep a pair of shorts up.
Right. I was gonna wear my skirt, and I'm thinking I got no pockets in it. I've got. And I'm like, my boss goes, no, as long as there are no Daisy Dukes, you're good to go. And I'm thinking, I wouldn't be caught dead in a pair of Daisy Dukes anyways, but just, I gotta find, I gotta buy myself.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've lost 60 pounds. So
yeah.
Wait, I got nothing to wear. I've had to buy new jeans and stuff for work. And I haven't worn jeans since high school.
Oh, wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
I have never in my life been this small, ever. Maybe when I was 12.
Well, I can tell you, when I went looking for pictures for your intro for your show, I have to completely agree with you. You've never been this small.
Never.
And the clothes just fall off you. So you gotta go out and buy new clothes. That's like when same when I got sick. I lost over 60 pounds right at the beginning. And clothes don't fit you when you lose that much weight. And from the pictures I saw of you in the past, your clothes aren't going to fit you.
They don't.
No.
Anyways, you go back, I had a baby when I was 40, right? I had Taven when I was 39. And I was, healthy, 15, 20 pounds when I got pregnant with him. By the time I was done having him, I was 170 pounds. Right. Oh. And then I, pulling myself down, but you know what I mean? I was still always probably 130 pounds, give or take. Right. So I was a bit of a chub, and I didn't, whatever, right? Having kids, I didn't care. My husband doesn't care, whatever, right? And here I am, 90 pounds.
90 pounds. Wow. You could probably hide behind Alvin, couldn't you?
Oh, 3 or 4 times. Because Alvin's a big guy. Alvin's shoulders are
yeah, exactly.
Right. So I could probably 3 or 4, probably. Yeah.
He's a solid looking fella, and then and then there's little wee you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, before, like I said, we didn't really notice because I didn't really notice until I went to the doctor to get a checkup and get my medication changed for my arthritis. And I hadn't been on a scale, and she put me on the scale, and I
Yeah.
was 94 pounds, and I went, "What? Like, you're fucking kidding me, right?"
What? Oh, you don't have a. Oh yeah.
I don't have a scale. I don't weigh myself. I don't like,
You don't
I
have a
just like
scale at home.
I wear sweatpants. So sweatpants, like, like they're baggy. They're always baggy. Like I never really paid
They're
much
always
attention,
baggy.
right, to any of it. And my
Right.
t-shirts, well, like, I'm wearing the same clothes. I never noticed. I really didn't.
And then that now. Well, see, now you can almost might be able to get an advantage. Go out and buy used clothing, and get some tax-free clothing. Is I believe the last I knew it was tax-free. Anyways,
Well, there's several
used
thrift
clothing.
stores. Yeah, for sure. There's like in my grandma started a thrift store at the Cellar in the United Church here in 1977 with like the auxiliary women's group that she was involved with the church, and that store
Mhm.
still runs today, right? So the little
Really?
so I
Eh?
thrift store. Like I was always with my grandma at the thrift store. She'd bring home bags, we cut
Mm.
rags. Like that was just the thing. We never got new clothes. We always wore secondhand stuff from the Cellar, right? And yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Well, hey,
doesn't bother me.
I
It's
know how
recent.
you feel. I still go to Valley Village, and I don't go there very often to buy clothes. I think I got one pair of jeans that don't have a hole in them.
See, and I bought
All the
several
others have got holes.
pairs, right? But I bought several pairs from work because thankfully at work, like all our Wranglers or anything we buy, they give it to us for cost. So $150 pair of
Okay.
jeans doesn't cost me $150, right? Thankfully. So
Correct.
I
Yeah.
got,
Yeah.
but they're for work. And so I've got a pair for every day of the week so I don't have
Mhm.
to worry about washing every night type of thing. And because I'm tired. When I come home, I'm
Yeah.
tired. I don't want to do much
No.
at all.
No. Well, yeah. You can slug in bags, 40-pound bags, like they're half your weight.
And dealing with customers and standing
Almost.
at a till is exhausting, and then, you're putting in and, like, today was seniors day, so we had 10% seniors day, so we had senior citizens in there today. That and it's busy, like, they're
Oh.
lined up 10 deep. And we got 3 tills running. I'm taking people to the back to irrigation to run them through, and we had no s like,
Mhm.
our shells were, like we had no time to stock shells, so at the end of the day, I'm running around putting birdseed out and trying to get some more fertilizers on the shelf, and Jen's like,
Mhm.
"Thank you." I'm like, man, I'd rather be away from the till right now. I've been there for 5.5 hours straight. I'm good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
It's
It makes the
if
day
you just
take
stand there.
by, but it makes it fast, like, because 'cause you're dealing with people and it's one after the other, and you're dealing with people at the till, right? And we're not really fast about it. We
Yep.
talk with them, we, take our time, but it's nice because it makes the day go by like that. Like, it's just like, "Oh, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Woo, I'm off
Oh
in
yeah,
half
for
an hour.
sure.
Start the car."
Oh,
Right?
where did they go? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Just to let everybody know, normally we're gabbing about this time, but tonight we are guestless. It was just one of those things, guests, and then when guests have to make changes, then you go to
there's
Plan B. So yeah, tonight we're going to talk Global Marijuana March,
yeah.
being that this weekend is the first Saturday of May, and the first Saturday of May is always the Global Marijuana March. Correct?
Correct. I started one in Lethbridge, the
Yes.
first in
Did ya?
2008.
And
Yeah.
how did it go?
I was kind of shocked that we ended up with 50 people, which was great because I mean, it's
Well,
less,
hey,
right? And then the second year we did it, we had 300 people. And then the fourth year we
well,
did it, we had more people, right? And I don't know if they still do it, but even when I moved to Cranbrook, I went to City Hall. There was
mhm,
only 10 of us, but we sat in front of City Hall, and actually that was an election year for provincially. So
mhm.
I had a couple of the MLA candidates show up at the Global Marijuana March that year. I've got pictures of it. So I think that was 2015. So again, like,
So
yeah, we
yeah,
there was a federal election
it-
actually, and it was the Green MP candidate and the Libertarian that showed up. So yeah, so there's
there you
candidates.
go.
We got them in the newspaper here too. Like the
Well,
Townsend came out, took our
yeah, and
pictures, and
yeah, and like you said, your first one in what was it, Lethbridge,
mhm,
where you had like 10 people, and then the next year, or you started with 50, and the next year went to 300, and then it
yep,
got bigger. That's what it
yep.
takes. Like you don't get always those massive
Oh,
crowds
And I
like the
I was
ones that have
surprised
been
we got
going
that
on
many
over years.
people. Like, to be honest, the first year, I was surprised anybody showed up because, I mean, I had gotten some media attention. I had CTV come out and do a little
Mm,
bit, and Terry Oak kinda did an interview and
good.
stuff. And when, because I was working with Fiona Doherty at that point in time too, and Southern Alberta Cannabis Club was really kinda getting some momentum. And to be honest, like, that was the start of it, right? And then we had Mark Emery show
Right.
up for his farewell tour, and we had Neil Magnuson come through for the, Freedom Tour. So, Lethbridge kinda got a little bit of a groove going on, and that was because
Yeah.
we were out there doing it. And like I said, there and Bob's headquarters was our like our bong store, and the owner was right
Mm,
on board for that too. So we had that sponsorship, and like
good.
I said, once I got going in 2007, Lethbridge became a real hub. So, like I said, to be fair though, I was shocked 50 people did come. But then we had the 420 too after I got my license, and we had the first 420 in Lethbridge, and it's become a festival, out there now. So again, like, it's just the little things that you do along the way and all the years, and other people then pick up after you and continue on. And I hope that there's going to be a Global
Correct.
Marathon in Lethbridge this Saturday.
Oh, hopefully there is. The so were they the first ones, like you organized those two that you're talking about, but was there any others that you were able to go to before that, or was this
Yep.
just
In fact,
you're just somebody who was
we did our first cannabis protest prior to the Global Marijuana March at the MP's office. It was the day of action. And we did that prior
Mhm.
to the Global Marijuana March. And like I said, the momentum started like with me starting Southern Alberta Cannabis Club and then getting people joining on Facebook. And that's what kind of took off and got the momentum so that we even had people to come to Global Marijuana March. But I also had somebody that helped
Right.
me, like, like organize the first one by myself. But year two and year three, I had people that helped me too, right? Because we had more volunteers
Good.
then. So, but it takes a team. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't always be just a one woman show. I mean, I did a lot alone,
No,
but
no, no. Oh,
sometimes you have to have friends that come along to help, and I did. Tammy helped me, and rest her heart, she's dead. Like, she's gone now. She died of a drug overdose
um,
3
yeah.
years ago. And Tammy was my sidekick.
Wow.
She rented my house in Tabor, and yeah, so and then she died here a few years ago. So you know what I mean? Like, yeah, life is funny that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm at the I'm looking over here at the Global Marijuana March Wikipedia. And as you said, 98, 99, when it got started. Since then, hundreds of thousands of people have participated in 1,034 different cities in 85 nations and sub-nations.
I first learned about it by reading in the back of High Times, and I reached out to Dana Beal myself so I could get posters because he would said, if you're going to do a global marijuana march, we will support you. We will give you posters and all kinds of stuff. So I got in touch with Dana Beal, and it was the $1 million marijuana march or something at the beginning
Yeah.
or something. So, anyways, the name's changed over the from the very start. But again, I got out. He sent me 200 posters and postcards so that we could hang them up in Lethbridge, and I hung them up in Tabor and Coaldale and all the little towns around us. And that's like I said, that's how we got started with the Global Marijuana March in Southern Alberta too. So, and
Yeah.
that's probably how most people did, even in Vancouver and Toronto and everybody else that have them. Halifax, like I know
Mhm.
Debbie's had them organize them in Halifax. I know, the people in Toronto,
Yeah.
Niagara, like Calgary. Keith and Debbie would do a global marijuana march rather than a 420 because Keith Fagan was pretty adamant about not smoking in public. He didn't want to push the limits because it was so hard in Alberta. Like, it kind of
Oh,
makes me
really? Oh,
laugh
yeah.
now that
Okay.
Alberta has made, now got there's most legal marijuana stores and they're all about the legalization. But let me tell you, Alberta was a tough go. The first time I was in Calgary, we had the
I
RCMP, the
imagine.
Calgary City Police, like all the
Yeah.
way around the march. And I was like, what in the actual fuck is this? Because the first protest I ever went to was one of Keith and Debbie's when Mark and Jody Emery came the first time before all the hoopla, but he was going to jail and they were
Mhm.
doing a tour too. And that's what it was my first rally, my first protest was we drove
Your
to Calgary.
first one.
Yeah.
Well, the I've got the Wikia page too. You can see here I've got Canada. They're only listing one, two, three of them, but we know that there's more of them. But mentioned here Toronto, held in 1999. They said 20,000 people participated in 2007, 15,000 in 2008. Let's see. The police roughly estimated 12,000 filled the north lawn of Queen's Park, and with 5,000 participating in the parade. Let's see. 2011, they say about 25,000 were at the park, and 20,000 on the march through the downtown.
Well, I
And then they
see
said
on Facebook
tens of thousands.
that somebody's doing something in Toronto this year, so there will be a global marijuana
Well,
march.
there. This is the interesting part. Is that there is some. I'm in the Global Marijuana March for Toronto's in the chat group that's going on there, and there's people are encouraging others to go and to show up. Last year's event, from the information I saw in there, said that I've mentioned thousands here, tens of thousands, but from my understanding, according to one report I read, they said there was only 100 people or a couple hundred people last year.
Well, it used to be a
And
big thing because that's where Mark and Jody would go. They would head out to Toronto. They wouldn't be marching in
they'd
Vancouver.
always,
They were
yeah,
the big ticket. Everybody was
they,
going to go to the park and see Mark and Jody, and it was
they
a
would
big
lead the parade.
lead the parade.
Yeah,
Alice would be there. Michelle would be there.
Allison was there.
Anybody
Correct.
who was anybody in the cannabis community would all forge out to Toronto. They'd fly from all over the goddamn country to go to Toronto for the biggest global marijuana march.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing anything is kind of like,
Okay.
let's act off. Like
Well,
it's kind of.
here's a bit.
But then again, things have
Here's a
changed.
bit of
Mark
a
and Jody aren't together anymore. Mark's kind of like the persona non
yeah.
grata in the community now, and so things have changed with things that have evolved. What can I say?
Oh, sure.
But things have
Well, here
evolved.
you go. You can see. This is an article that I wrote for the Treating Yourself magazine and Toronto Freedom Festival, which is the Global Marijuana March. And you can see in that picture here, as far as you see some of the tents, it's just a massive amount of people that are in there.
Yeah.
I got some write-ups. So I'm just looking for the pictures. You can see here the
Yeah.
cloud of smoke. Yeah, I'm up on the
Again,
stage, and
Marco's
I'm
not even
standing beside. Yeah, there's Marco right there.
yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, look
There
at the people.
he was speaking. He was on the stage speaking, and I'm on the. I got a media pass. He got me a media pass, and I got up on the stage, and that's how I got these pictures of all the people out in front of the stage. And I got, like, you can see there, I got a picture of Marco when he was speaking.
Behind
You
him
can
is
see here in the
Jeremiah,
middle.
right? And then, like I said, but you see, like anybody.
This is this is the road. This middle picture here, this smaller picture here. Let me see if I can blow that up. Yeah. It is the road from sidewalk to sidewalk.
I know,
People,
right?
nothing but people.
I know, and like I said,
as far back as you,
where's everybody gone? You think with
yeah,
legalization now everybody would be out like, woohoo, let's go out there and celebrate. Like, seriously, where's everybody gone?
yeah, exactly. Some people are saying, well, cannabis is already legal now. Why do we need to
Why not have a party?
protest?
Why have a
Well, you
protest?
can have a
Why not
you
have a
can have it as a celebration
A
if
parade can
you
be a
liked what.
celebration. Take it from a protest to a parade.
Correct.
Make it a fucking party instead of a protest.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's still things that need to be changed and things that need to be corrected. When it comes to this, I gotta just see which layout I got here.
but if you
They
think
still have to be corrected. Such as there's the lounges. Okay, that's there's that. But as far as within the law itself, within the Cannabis Act, like you can go places and you can fill up a truck full of gasoline, like as far as the gas cans, and put them in the box of a truck. People can make bombs or burn houses or light people on fire with gasoline, but you're restricted to 30 grams of cannabis. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like,
yeah.
what's more dangerous, a truckload of jerry cans of gas or somebody carrying 35 grams of cannabis and them getting fined for it.
Yeah.
This
I
doesn't
don't
make
know
sense.
where
Or charged.
don't even have a study because they've done no study. They don't. Here's the thing: the conservatives tried to did a study. Okay, what year was that, Al? I think you know because it was after the Senate report, because the Senate report came out in 2002 saying that there was no harms in cannabis, and then when Stephen Harper's government
Yeah.
got in, they were going to do a study to try and find the harms of cannabis. And halfway through that study, when they couldn't find any, the study disappeared. So there's a study out there
Disappears.
somewhere in La La Land, conservative bill, somewhere in the government's files, that shows that there are no harms in cannabis because the studies were being done and all of a sudden it was like, poof, gone. So
Mm-hmm.
where did that
Yeah.
go?
Yeah.
And like again, they want to, keep, and we have to keep reminding them of the Senate report. We have to keep reminding them that the government
Oh, yeah.
prior to them has done a study relating to cannabis,
Right.
and Karachen had already said years ago it's harmless. How many times does he
Yeah.
have
I'll have the
face?
money for my fine in one hand. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right? Like, so
As
this is
far
not a new thing, right?
yeah. No. The on those pictures of the global marijuana march pictures I showed you there just a few seconds ago. They I don't know whether that was the first year I went there or not, but I can tell you when I went there, it was already big. It had already been running for several years, and it was massive amount of people, and it was the festival, as that article had. It was the festival. They had a Freedom Festival, Global Marijuana March. So they had the march, and then Queens Park, the lands, they had a permit. The city
Yeah,
gave them a permit. They had stages, they had musicians, they had speakers. As you know, I showed you the Marco there. Um, People were selling things. They had booths that were like vaporizer booths where you could sit
right,
at a counter and you'd have a volcano or something going, and then you would see all the tents all across the lawn,
right.
and they were hot box and tents is what they were in the end. I was trying to figure it's a nice day. Why are these people doing sitting in a tent?
So
So I
just
figured that's what they
and the last update on this one, Global Marijuana March, is December 1st, 2022. And it says 2023 Global Cannabis March and 420 maps.
and what's the what you're doing a search there on your phone, I can see.
Yeah. Event on April 20th,
Yeah.
2023 or thereabouts.
I,
10,035 cities have submitted participation.
yeah.
But it doesn't have any showing previous years.
Yeah.
But this is like their
Okay, well,
page.
here's one from 2012. I believe it's 2012. Right there, because it's got the date. You can see 2012,
Yeah,
2012 date.
right? And
Yeah,
it's
had the
showing
do's and
like we're
don'ts.
talking about it.
But,
Like,
yet again, here we are. It's a massive crowd. The following year, you can see Herb up on. This is a tractor trailer, and the Killing Time Band would get on the tractor
I know,
trailer,
right?
and they would do their music as they went around. It was great. And yet it just packed
Like,
people
why is
side
that's
to
what I'm saying. Like,
side.
why are they not doing that anymore? Like, what's going on,
Yeah.
marijuana? What's going on, Toronto?
Well, I can tell you what's going. So you can see here now in the picture, Killing Time Band
Yeah,
on the trailer there. You can see Robert Neron. That's Robert Neron right
oh yeah,
there.
yeah, I remember him too.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, it says here, one interesting comment I heard was that the EMS station at the event were bored with nothing to do.
But yeah, I mean, what is there to
That's
do?
right. People weren't getting loaded and smashing each other's faces in.
No, big,
And
right?
yeah, and at the end of the march, um, people would stay and clean up the garbage that was on the grounds,
Yeah,
and clean up the mess
Yeah, I'm looking on
that was going
Facebook.
on.
There's absolutely nothing. No pages, no events, no groups for
No,
Toronto.
no, I know.
Nothing.
There's nothing now. See what's going on in Toronto too, as well. The location in this thread that I was reading, and they posted a newspaper article, an online article, that on Saturday, this coming Saturday, at Queen's Park is the coronation for the king.
Right.
It's
It is.
happening. It's happening. It's happening at the South
Queen's
Park.
Oh,
The
God.
the Global Marijuana March is on the North Park, but yet with all the dignitaries there and the whole bit, I
They're never
don't. I
there.
I'm going
They're never
down.
gonna get in there. The
I'm going
security
down,
around
but
that place is going to be so tight. You're not going to get in there.
I even trying to park someplace. I haven't even got a clue. Like the spots I would normally park at, I would assume if I even get down there, whether I imagine they would be already filled because the celebration for the king, it starts in the morning. People
Like,
aren't gathering at the march site until noon, from noon till 2, and then the march starts at 2 o'clock.
yeah.
But yeah,
But there's no
it's
things anywhere.
there's
Any
I haven't
rest.
seen any map for 2023. There's maps there for 2022, but I've never seen one for 2023. So
No, I haven't seen anything either. And
and
like I said,
there's some conversation in the thread in the Facebook group itself. There's only been a couple people that have asked any questions. There's been no promo of it. So like, it has the event, like I'm seeing some people talk about going down there, but has the event gone back to its roots? Did it peak before legalization and the COVID fucked everything up for getting together? So that's been down for a couple of years. So
oh, hang on.
back
I'm
that
seeing
that
March
changed some
Square.
things. People moved on.
Oh, hang on. We got one.
What's that?
I found one. We got one for Saturday, May 6th, 2023 at 11 a.m. at Global Marijuana March pop-up market. This is,
Where's that?
cannabis event. Vancouver. So there is
Vancouver.
one going on in Vancouver. But let's say
We're
there's
talking
like
about Vancouver.
37, and it's at Robson Street, and it's only got 37 people that have said they're going to come.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me see if I can find the right page here that
So
I
there's
want to
that.
share with you.
So what
Okay,
else
I
is there?
found it.
Oh, here's one
found
for
it.
art gallery too.
There we
There's
go.
this.
This one here, talking about Vancouver. Yeah. This one here is from 2010, a Global Marijuana March in Vancouver. And look who is right there.
Hi, Michi. Yeah. Yeah, her and her beautiful
Yeah,
smile.
Michelle Rainey.
Yeah.
There's a picture of Michelle right over my shoulder.
Yeah.
She watches every show. This is the character picture that was drawn for the front cover of Treating Yourself magazine. And
Right.
they presented that to me at the expo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember I was there.
So
That was the first and
were you
only
there?
word. I was there. We were there. We were all there. We watched them do it on.
I was blown away. I had no clue, right? I'm out there. I
Oh,
wasn't even in the area. Like I was out on the floor.
Well, the thing of it is, there was nominations put in, and I was actually, me and Sandra Colasanti were also nominated, and so was Puff Mama, and you.
Yeah.
And this is what you got her. Like I said, there was So like I said, we were all there. Yeah, that was the second. That was my second TY Expo. Yeah, because we were there all there with Normal Women's Alliance. Yep, you betcha.
Oh, right. So there's Michelle. Yeah, writing up her stuff. This is written by Jeff Tech, Michelle's partner. Yeah.
So yeah, we've
no
got
longer with us. Rest in peace, Michelle.
Looks like we got a couple global marijuana marches going on in Vancouver. There's one at okay, so there's one being held by Cannabis Culture at the Art Gallery.
Okay, well, hang on. let's go for break. Maybe write down some numbers there during the break if you find more than one. And if there's anybody out there, I see we got some watchers. If anybody's got any memories or stories to share about the global marijuana experience that they had, throw us a comment.
Yeah.
All righty.
Come join us.
Okay.
Come talk about your global marijuana marches.
That's right. That's right. After break we go. When we return, Tamara and I will keep talking Global Marijuana March. This is the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net and cbgtv.com.
Global
You're
marijuana
listening
march.
to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
When you think of the number of unique products developed in the fields, kitchens, and labs at Legacy 420, it's hard to think that one stands out above the rest. But tell that to the thousands of people who have tried this amazing breakthrough product.
This is our Sacred Salve. This is actually our extra strength. It comes in 5 different strengths. It's all natural, all organic. It typically works within 10 to 15 minutes of putting it on. It's good for arthritis, it's good for inflammation, any kind of pain. We're very proud of it.
Sacred Salve, so easy to apply, along with soothing relief. To select a strength that's right for you, come in and talk to your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Pace Radio Network, by patients, for patients, and for those who want to know.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com.
Let's share Pace everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. You're watching the Pace Radio Show, and Tamara and I, we're talking Global Marijuana March, being that it is happening this weekend. Hopefully there's one arranged in your area, and if there's not, why not start one? Right, Tamara?
Yeah. So Global Marijuana March is going on in Vancouver is not endorsed by anybody in Vancouver. The one at the Art Gallery was canceled because I don't know the reason for that. But the one that's going on in Vancouver is, not endorsed by anybody in Vancouver.
Oh, really?
It's a shit show out
Does
there.
Does that mean it's somebody?
It's another.
Yeah, that's too bad.
What can I say?
And I haven't got a clue what's going on in Toronto.
I don't want to know. But apparently I
you don't want to know. Well, we'll find out. And I'll be able to fill you in.
Yeah, well, yeah, so that's what I was told. I just asked, like, "Is this legit? Like, what the hell's going on?" Because I went and looked through the ones on Facebook, and the one that was at the art gallery says right on it, "This event has been canceled." Like, it's
Really? Eh?
yeah, and then the other one, so I
Wow.
sent, somebody a picture and said, "Is this legit? Like, who's doing this? What's going on? Like, I'm on the air. Like, do we promote this or?" And I was told, "Yeah, you know." Anyways, there is a global marijuana march event in Vancouver.
But it's not. Yeah. Okay.
It's
But
part of
not
the community.
endorsed.
Out there is so divided out. You got ones here, ones there, ones
Okay.
all fighting for who can do the best event. It's just a big too many cooks in the kitchen.
Oh,
Nobody wants to get along. So it's yeah,
too many
there's a
cooks
lot of
in the kitchen.
you know, it's just cannabis
That's too
politics.
bad. That's too bad.
It is. It's ridiculous. But
Yeah. 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 Well, I'm just
I
going
don't live
through
there.
because like
Not my
there's a
money.
huge list. What's that?
I don't want to. I said not my monkeys. I don't live there.
No, that's right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. 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 All we
As a
do
trip.
is talk about when we went, and like I know in Toronto, going around and taking pictures and stuff for the magazine and everything. Um, the things that you would see, like you saw the picture there of the guy with the green hair. Unfortunately, I just can't remember his name right now.
Cannabis man, isn't it Cannaman
It
or
was
something like that? Eric? No, that's not
well,
his
it was
name.
man, but that's not the same guy. Different guy.
I can't think.
I just I know, eh? It's on the tip of your tongue. But but you'd be walking along, and all of a sudden you'd catch up to somebody who was pulling a cart, and they could have had beverages on it, or it was a dab station. I remember coming back across that a few times throughout the years. Where someone's walking along with the e-nail and all that, and they've got it, some power running to it through a generator or something. I can't remember exactly. And yeah, they doing
That's
dabs
what I mean.
on
Like,
the
where is
roadway.
all these? Where have all our peeps gone? Like, but again, back to the lounges. People used to congregate and have events every week. They'd be at the comedy,
Yeah.
whatever. They'd be at Vape Central or wherever. So we had community. Now that we don't have places to congregate and COVID and events and stuff, our community is really falling apart.
Yeah, yeah. Like I know there's still some out west. Toronto, like there's one or two of the old ones, and then there's one there that I
But they've all
understand it's
gone to
got a
illegal.
research license, but nobody knows where. Only limited people know where it is. It's
That's
not
what I mean. Like
something that's promoted as a place
everybody's
to
gone
go.
to the legal side. Like they're all working for a LP. They're all working for a legal store. They're all working
Yeah, we
for.
still have lounges. Just because that's where they work doesn't mean anything. They still have a lounge, still socialize, right?
Yeah, but
You
again,
just sit
because
around. You go to a bar and sit around and have
technically, if
some
you own a
peanuts
bar,
and
you're not allowed to sit in your bar and drink either, right? And that's the thing. Like because these people are involved in the cannabis industry with all the regulations they have, it's not even their fault. I'm sure it's not that they don't want to come out
mm,
to events, socialize and sponsor and do all these cool things that they used to do. But with the regulations, like I said, even a bar owner is not technically supposed to sit in his bar and drink his own booze. Like
well,
that's
no, he's supposed to be making
illegal,
sure that he's running his business and that
right?
yeah,
So it's the
yeah,
same because
employees, whether it's the owner or not, shouldn't be drinking at work, right?
right, and neither should
Like
you be smoking
yeah.
at work then. And then that's like I said, since it's been looped in, and with the no smoking policies in every province, no smoking, no vaping, and now I
Oh,
see
yeah,
vaping is
that's gonna be
really under the
that's gonna be the hardest part.
well, and vaping now they're going
No,
after the kids and the flavors. I saw it all over the news yesterday. Like they're really coming down
oh,
on the
they've been
vaping.
doing that. Yeah, they've been doing that for a while. Yeah, yeah, the
So
vaping. They've done
yeah,
that for quite a while with the juice.
yeah. So
The
again,
so I've got what I got here. I've I've got us another article here that was written in TY. Which one is this one? Okay, that's that one. Good. This, where did it go? There it goes. What the hell? Come on, there you go. Getting new internet soon. Right. Yeah. This is from 2010. This is in Buenos Aires. How do you pronounce that? You know it.
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires.
Okay.
Buenos Aires.
But yet you can see massive amount of people. Again, quote, there stop the raids against their brothers, stop the police arresting people for marijuana. And they spell it with an H. Let's see, 8,000 people is what they said that's gathered that day.
We have a comment over here that Steve Mather said Amsterdam Cafe in Vancouver for infused coffees. And that's right. The Amsterdam Cafe has been running since 1998-ish, because I know that our good
Yeah.
friends started with the Amsterdam Cafe long before legal, like long time ago. So the Amsterdam's still been running, and actually that's where the 42 Live was held, and the 420
Yeah, correct.
was all held at the Amsterdam Cafe, because they've got a banquet basement hall, I think, or something like that too. So yeah, they have 2 levels in there. So again, I've been there too. And as far as I know, the Cannabis Culture Lounge up above, because Amsterdam Cafe is on the bottom floor, and then Cannabis Culture is above it, and the stores next to it on in East Hastings there in Vancouver, I believe they're still running it over too, right?
Yeah.
But Vancouver's a different entity. Vancouver, like East Hastings, is a whole different world. There's the pub,
Different world over there.
addiction. They've got the addiction
Yeah.
market. It's a different world down there. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. Some
Yeah.
people need to maybe go there to get their eyes open.
There's speed bumps, Al. When you drive down there, they have
Yeah.
actually speed bumps so that you're not driving too fast,
Wow.
because the addicts will come out and fall into the streets, will be walking around.
Mhm.
So they've actually got speed bumps, so you can't go too fast. It's
Wow.
kind
Well,
of
you
an
don't
eye.
run anybody over.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's, like I said, there's people living homeless on the streets that have addiction problems all over that part of Vancouver. It's not just, but it's been prevalent down in that part of Vancouver for decades. It's not a new thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Correct.
these
Correct.
things has always been, that kind of, and that's where cannabis culture. That's where the Amsterdam Cafe. That's where all the pop blocks in that area, right? So why Neil
Yep.
has the substitution program down in that area, because that's where everybody is that needs
Yeah.
help, right?
Yep. 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 Exactly.
Like I said, I could tell you stories that I was told, about, the person, I will not mention his name, that, actually like helped people with an Bean clinic, and would bring sandwiches to homeless people in the old Woodwards building in downtown Vancouver. So, like I said, all the bad you hear, there are parts of that person that was really good
Yeah.
too, right?
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean?
Correct.
And that's what, brought me to being the whole thing about it, is the fact that our community was so giving, and everybody was so peaceful, and we're all sharing and information and education and everything, going to TY and going to these events and 420 and global marijuana marches and all these great expos and events that we had. That's what made our community so great. I mean, I flew out from
Oh
Alberta,
yeah.
Ontario, right? Because I
Yeah.
had to come out to TY, go to Vancouver for the Mom Cup, because I had to be out there for that,
Yeah.
Edmonton for 420.
When I was involved in the TY Expo, and people would come, the next year we'd meet them. The first year they came, the next year they come, they remember your name, and chat about the previous year and share stories what they've done over the last year and what you're doing in order to try to legalize cannabis. And
Or make
yeah,
some really
everybody.
good friends that you keep in contact with via Facebook, and like, like
Yeah.
us, and like I made some great, like Debbie Stoltz Giffen. Like I met her at, doing Facebook, whatever. And then, we went to TY for Normal Women's Alliance. But we first met in Ottawa at the protest in 2012, because Debbie had flown in from Halifax to Ottawa, and I had flown in from Alberta to Ottawa, and we protested together, and we were like fast friends. And then TY, we stayed an extra day, me and her and Arlene, at a different
Mhm.
hotel, so we could all hang out and, just do whatever after the expo, right? Like, and I had Mom Cop, come on out from
Yep.
Halifax all the way out to Vancouver, right? So again, that
Yep. Got another.
friendships that have been built through this
Yeah.
too, right?
There's another comment from Steve. He sees Weed Fairy Rosie does that still at Thornton Park. The medical people are still trying, but the recreational makes it tough to be heard.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
We absolutely know, like, that's because we're patients too. We totally understand how the cannabis
Yeah.
industry is throwing the patients under the bus too. And that's something that why
Yep.
like Gal says, there's still work to be done. Like, we still don't
Still work.
have access to medical cannabis. Like, we
Oh,
have access to all kinds of
there's what 2 days ago, the VCBC
yes,
um is going after a
they
constitutional
filed.
challenge to deal with it.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
and they should.
exactly.
And they
They
absolutely should,
should.
and that's good because you would but again, I'm not sure how that's it's in they're going in for an injunction on something. I'm not exactly sure how that's working, but I don't care because I'm pretty sure that Tucsaw's behind it, and I'm down for it because Kirk will find a way. Him and Conroy
Yeah,
because they're
yeah, yeah.
in Kelowna, right? And I can see Mr. Conroy coming out of retirement. Just saying.
wants the fight. Come on.
I well,
The
they were working
yeah, they're
cannabis LP thing
they
together,
want
right?
it. Yeah, yeah. It's their battle is over the 10 milligram limit as well as storefront access, which patients don't have of either. Yeah, okay, yeah, they can go into a recreational store, but and a lot of people do, according to the surveys, but it's not the proper place for a medical patient. To be able to take some time and talk with them and go through with the do's and the don'ts and all that. And the people at the stores can't do that. But if they had something set up with a medical storefront where there was people there who could answer those questions, people with experience, to help out, like whether it's a storefront or I even if they would allow inside a recreational store to have a medical dispensary inside the store, just like you got to walk by all the toys or the bandages or the vitamins before you get to the pharmacy at the back of like a Guardian drugstore.
Oh, yeah, and that would,
So
have a special section for people with licensing, and people would have to show their licensing, just like we had to in the old days.
yeah,
You want the stronger stuff,
you know,
you want the medical grade stuff, you have to show your license for it.
make
And then they have to have licensed people behind the counter that actually are taught, trained, whatever the case may be, whatever needs to be done, courses taken to be able to distribute that. And if it means having to have a pharmacist back there doing it, I guess that's what we have to deal with. But at some point in time,
yeah,
we've got to
I
like
think I
we've got to
think
do
they're jumping
something.
on board. Yeah,
Pardon?
I think the pharmacy end of thing is probably slowly gaining some steam. Because I know at one time they were against it, and I've read
Farmers
some
got their
stuff over the
license,
last
right? But
where
the
there's
thing is,
seems to be more
nobody's
push.
super interested in going to Shoppers to order because it was stupid. You had to go into Shoppers
Yeah,
Drug Mart, order your stuff, and then they would get it delivered to there, and then you have to go into Shoppers to pick it up. And that's stupid, but you can just order
yeah.
directly from Broken Coast or from wherever.
Why not? Why
Bother.
why not store them in the same cabinets that they store the narcotics in? If they're so worried about someone coming in and ripping off the cannabis out of the drugstore, why don't you put it in where there's more dangerous drugs than the cannabis if people are so worried about it? But
Right?
from my understanding, they're like places in Ottawa, which is Hybrid Pharma, I believe is what it's called. It's got a spot where the cannabis is all locked up because they can distribute it there. They've got a license.
Everything's locked up. Like even the stores, like if you go into the rec stores, they've got vaults and all that shit in
Yeah.
the back room.
Oh yeah.
Everything's
Yeah.
cabinets
Yeah.
are all locked. And then they've
So
got pico wall shutters, like big, that come down on the front, like the
oh yeah,
liquor
the big
store,
steel ones.
big steel doors that come down, and they're all like blacked out windows, like you can't see inside, right? They've got, but here at least you can
Yeah.
have pot leaves around it, and it says, whatever, and there's a big pot leaf on the sign. They can at least, have pot leaves on their sign showing that they're a pot store, but everything's blacked out, like,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But again, they have, security, but it kind of goes hand in hand, like we were saying about the liquor, because the BCL's, like the BC store, the one that's government owned, the liquor store is here on one end of the mall, and then the cannabis, there's a pizza 73, and then there's the cannabis store. So it's in a strip mall with the liquor store, right? But because they didn't want to have to sell it in the stores, so they just put 1, 2 doors down.
Right.
It's all union and like let's work
Ah,
amounts of money and yeah.
right, right. Okay, I've got another GMM story here. I was just taking a quick boo at it there. There we go. Okay. This should be the right one, I think. Looks like it. Yep, there we go. This is from 2010. So you're going back 12 years. And this is in the US. And they had 181 cities signed up. Where are we? They talk about 1999, 538. Then I think I mentioned some of that stuff earlier. Here you can see here Cleveland, Ohio. Some people, pictures there of some of the festivities.
Mm-hmm.
Dare to care, exactly. Oh, look at that! Can you see? Can you see that graph? That graph right there. It says annual American deaths. Tobacco, 400,000. Alcohol, 100,000. Illegal drugs, 20,000. Caffeine, 2,000.
I know, ridiculous, right?
Aspirin, yeah, 500. And look at the cannabis, the big fat zero.
Right? But now they're claiming deaths
Yeah,
because of
and
that Delta 8 or whatever. So I don't know.
yeah,
That's
there's
a
some. Oh, yeah. And then there was somebody who died from dust, cannabis dust. They
some
inhaled it,
people and
and like
people are actually allergic to it. Like
it's
they
just,
smoke it, but they can't touch it.
yeah. So there you go. Look at this list. This is a list of all the cities that it's happening in, that was happening in
Mm.
back then, and this would be worldwide because it's missing. It's mentioning Frankfurt. There's Halifax right there. Hey,
Yeah.
there's even a link. Yeah, Hamilton. So it's all in alphabetical order.
Is there Calgary? There's Calgary. Anybody Lethbridge is in here too.
Yeah, there's
There's a 9.
Calgary.
Let's see if there's a Lethbridge in there.
No, I don't see it. This is the L's
Where is the L's?
over here. Yeah, right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, my
Yeah, I do.
cursor.
No,
Yeah.
Lethbridge. I was
Yeah.
gone by then.
I
I was
smoke.
doing
I smoke when I vote.
Yep.
Dare to care, communicate, accommodate, regulate and educate. It's much better than the other one, drug resistance everywhere. Well, like it's dare care, right? They
Yeah.
sound the same, but they're not the same word, Al.
Accommodate, regulate, educate, right? Where DARE is
Yeah,
drug,
yeah.
drugs against
I mean,
whatever. I don't even know what it stands for.
the cities are still going. Oslo, Osaka. That would be Japan, I would assume.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like they've got strict laws over there. There's Vancouver, Zaragoza. Where is that? But 181 in this list. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a lot of them. There's no doubt about it. And
Yeah.
like, are we like, we're sort of focusing on here in Canada, but are we seeing anything even internationally? Like, I'm not seeing anything of anything on Facebook or even on Twitter that's been posted
Well,
or
I like nothing. But again, it's also
nothing.
coronation of the king this weekend. So you like
Well,
before too. Like I mean, people are not. And then there's also like some other big thing going on in the UK, some big concert and stuff. I don't know. Like people are just like COVID,
yeah.
made everybody complacent. And then legalization just made it so we all had access. So just everybody just went a bit.
But it's that's more than likely what's happened, and they'll only survive if people show up. And my concern is if people don't show up at them, that over time that the politicians will just say, okay, everybody's happy with the way it is. Nobody's making any noise. Now that with the legalization, like even before it was, patients who were doing a lot of speaking up, and then there was all these rallies and events that were going on. Well, now we've got the legal end, and there's people that are lobbying all the time for things going on. So is that an added voice to those people who were on the street that were doing the marches and the patients that were doing
Well,
the talking?
because of the fact that there's lobbyists that are in there trying to change the policies that they've written. Because now the policies for legalization have been written. You need to have people change it at the legislation level, right? The policy has to be
Yeah, for sure.
right? Or within, and then again,
Yeah.
if the legislation changes, be careful for where you wish for, because if it changes too much, then it's got to go through
I know.
votes and Senate and blah 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 again, right? So
But it could be
What
completely different by the time it comes out of the wash.
Well, the thing is, the jurisdiction will still always be on the province, right? And why Quebec lost
Yeah.
their charter challenge and Manitoba now can continue with theirs is because it's all been given back to the province. And no matter what it is, whether it's health or whether it's alcohol and tobacco and lotto, those are always going to be jurisdictions of the province. So the feds can't even blanket over. Like, look at Danielle Smith or whatever her name is out in Alberta with her, I'm not listening to the feds on anything. Sovereignty Act or whatever the fuck she calls it, right? So, like, so you each
pretty hard for
everything, right? It's how do you change?
Yeah.
But the medical was always pushed through by a court too. It wasn't the government ever handing us anything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Always had to go through a court of law.
Of course.
So again, with Ted pushing forward the charter challenge, Allison pushing forward with her charter challenge out in Ontario with her lawyers in Ontario. This is where we need to be backing these people. And again, the College of Physicians, and I'll say this over and over, until we get the doctors on board, and it's not even the doctors, it's their College of Physicians. It's the big head honchos above them that make sure that they're dotting their I's. That's who we finally have to get through to. Health Canada.
Once the doctors. Yeah, well, I believe you would get more doctors on board if the cannabis came in a pill.
I know that my doctors
because there was.
I don't like smoking. Like they would rather you not smoke anything, right?
I had a conversation with somebody, and I'm just trying to exactly remember what it was about, and it come down to where the doctor would only be on board if the patient took namaline, the synthetic versions of cannabis.
Yeah.
They wouldn't sign for them to get the herbal end, but they had no problem signing for the pharmaceutical end.
Oh yeah, you can. They don't even pull out their prescription. They just have to put it in the computer now, and off you go to the races, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it's hopefully the doctors and things can maybe open their minds a little bit more, and maybe more information will be flooding the medical field to make some changes, because as we know, there's not a lot.
Like Michelle used to send out those medical packages to the doctor's offices. I took hundreds. Right? No, I think and
I left them at doctors' offices too.
Right? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's not like we haven't had people really try hard, and because like I said, I've got envelopes with her handwriting still on it because it was full of medical, her little pamphlets to take to the doctor's offices and stuff. And yeah, like I said, like I don't know I don't know how far and who we have to get to. Because this hasn't been a short fight. This has been ongoing for decades. Like, who do we have to get through to?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, I see we're down to 1 minute or less here for the break. So what do you say? We just go for break?
Sure.
And we'll see what the conversation leads to on the other side. All right. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We'll be right back in about 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Talk to you shortly. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Come on, play.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to save the VCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. Well, we're back. Did you? I don't know how it looked at your end, Tamara, but I don't know at my end here. We went to that commercial. That took a little while to load.
It did. But that's okay.
It
Yeah,
did.
I think even the other night on Monday night when I was having all the issues, and thanks again for helping me out with that. I think it was my computer more than anything because it was updating. And then it updated. And then it was like, and it wanted to do all these crazy things. And now that I've done all those crazy things, it's working fine. So I haven't tried to do it on the stream
Good.
from the other part of it, but this was no problem getting into tonight. None.
No, well, you were using your phone, and
No, I'm not. I'm on my
the
computer tonight.
phone works. Phone works. It's just a pain in the ass to do it.
Well, my phone
Yeah,
tonight's here.
it's
I'm on my computer, but my computer was just, oh my God,
yeah,
it was terrible.
yeah.
It was
Like
terrible.
when I've done when we've been traveling and doing the road shows and stuff like that, the OTRs, and I've used my phone. You're poking, trying to find where things are. Whereas when you're doing it here on the computer, everything is right there. You can see all your buttons. You're not flipping back, and it's just
Then, throwing
just
yourself off, and you gotta go back in again.
yeah, exactly. So that happens to you again, let me know, and I'll just sit in the background. And it was sort of like doing the old radio shows, running the old radio shows, and you would be at home, with your guest, and I'd be running the board for you. And we're doing it through Spreaker. So that was really the days.
Me too, Al Rob. He's
Yeah.
doing it, the back of it.
Yeah, actually, he still broadcasts live on Spreaker at the same time as he's on this. So it works out for him. And I could do it for for any show that I am on, because I have the Spreaker app, but the other shows such as yourself, right? Yours wouldn't be able to go live onto it unless you had the app and so on and so forth to get it done.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I could do 2 shows live, and what I do now is I take all the audio now and I take the video from this and strip it down and take the audio and put it out on the Spreaker as a podcast.
Right.
So
Yep.
people are still listening from around the world. That's all that matters.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it goes out. So,
Mm.
and that's the best part about it, is that we can speak to people from all over the world and know that they're still
Oh,
fighting.
yeah.
There's a guy they killed somebody, and
Oh, well, there's a very good reason, and that was something I was discussing with Naomi. I had asked Naomi to join us tonight, but she couldn't. And that was one of the things that she asked me to make sure that we brought it up, and I'm glad that you reminded me there. But yeah, there was a guy that was hung in Singapore because they say that he made the deal come to reality, but his family, as his family says, he never touched the cannabis. He never even saw the cannabis.
So it was like a pound of weed. It was like a pound.
Yeah, they were promoting it this last week as being 2 pounds of cannabis, but nevertheless, we can store that. You and I, we can store 20 times, 50 times, 100 times more than that.
Yep.
In our homes.
Yeah.
And this guy's getting hung. So when people wonder, well, what
millions of pounds?
Why do we need a global marijuana march? They're hanging people. That's pretty good reason.
Too, like in Philippines, like just totally like, nope.
Yeah, and what I know I see good things going down the U.S., but I'm sure there's still some in the states that got some dragtarian laws.
Well, look what our last that guest said, like, and I know this from talking to Jerry too, like within Louisiana, within like the city of New Orleans, it's decriminalized for medical, and you can't buy smoke, you can only buy tincture. So you can't even go and buy a flower legally for medical in New Orleans.
So you're still breaking the law. So you would still be breaking the law if you had the flower.
Right. And outside of New Orleans, it's not legal because inside New Orleans it's been decriminalized, but outside New Orleans, it's not. So Louisiana, even Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, in Atlanta too, same thing, decriminalized within the borders of Atlanta, Georgia, but in the state of Georgia and the counties around it.
No, like, yeah. So there's and like Singapore isn't the only place that's hanging people for cannabis. And let me do a quick Google search here. Death penalty. Cannabis.
But this is exactly why we still need to do global marijuana marches. Like,
yeah.
Education and bring awareness that it's not legal worldwide. And that was the whole point of what Dana wanted. Why there's supposed to be a march worldwide to promote legalization of cannabis worldwide. And right now, I know the United States are concentrating more on fentanyl being brought across the southern border by the cartel than cannabis, right? Because cannabis has been legal in Canada. They don't look at us anymore either.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now, we just mentioned the U.S. Okay, now here's where did it go? Come on, stop these friggin' little pop-ups and crap. Get out of there. Come on. The hell? Oh, it's still loading. That's what's going on. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the video. It's got a pop-up. It's got a pop-up video in it.
What are the laws in Spain? Because they have Spannabis in Spain. Like, so is cannabis legal in Spain and Portugal? Right. It's not in the UK, so like that's why I kind of like, right?
Come on. Boy, I picked the right article, but I picked the wrong article at the same time. Yeah, it's got a list. This is the one we used this one on one of the news broadcasts in the past, but it's still friggin' loading because of the little videos that are in it. But
Oh
I
yeah, I
think
know.
I can still. I think I can still catch the names around it and stuff like that.
Okay, so here's a funny fact
And
for you. So they hold cannabis in Spain.
the,
In Spain, it's illegal to
the very first one. Okay, the very first one. Okay, it's the video is almost done. It's that.
What is it now? Al's computer, Al's
Oh,
Wi-Fi
oh, Jesus.
is
Okay,
coming in.
it's Canada, U.S.
Wait,
allows
I'm
the
here. Yeah.
imposition of large quantities to control substances in cannabis. Like it's retarded. What are they? Why would the U.S. still have that as a law? It doesn't make sense. There you go, right there. You can see it. In the United States, you could be hung for cannabis. United States, Saudi Arabia, 6 months in jail. However, cannabis trafficking can cost you 10 to 12 years, and the legal sales quantities can lead to capital punishment. Wow. Egypt, 74-year-old man, British citizen, was sentenced to death for cannabis trafficking. Singapore, as we've already discussed, there, and they talk here about another fella who was hung, and I remember that his story had to do with he had mental illness, and they still hung him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Malaysia. Let's see. The local and international media reports several cases of the death penalty sentences for cannabis-related crime in the last few years. China, death penalty applied for possession and sales is unclear. Okay, and information. It's classified information. They're not going to tell the world what is going on. Let's see. They say that they mentioned Iran here, and they say the death penalty or harsh punishments for cannabis is present in other Middle Eastern, African, and Asian countries. However, executions for those offenses are rare, but we know it can happen. Oh, yeah, there you go. Some of the places where people are still being killed by law for cannabis.
Well, like I was
The Global
saying,
Marijuana March. The Global
it's
Marijuana
illegal.
March is global. Cannabis is global.
So in
Go
Spain,
ahead.
it's illegal to consume and possess cannabis in a public place. However, it's legal to possess up to 100 grams of cannabis for personal and private use. The criminal law states that use, possession, or production of cannabis for personal use exclusively does not constitute a crime.
Yeah,
And
there you
that's
go.
state standard, right?
Yeah, like that's yeah,
Like
but
Canada
yet,
adapted.
well, we in at Singapore, okay, they kill these people. The country next door is Thailand, where they actually last June they just basically dropped the law on cannabis. There really wasn't any regulation other than something to do with low THC levels, and the country beside them is killing people. Like what the fuck? Like yeah, that's why we
I
need to
think that
keep
they're
doing that.
realizing like now, like with it being legal in Canada and it being
Mhm.
legal, this in most states, or like people are growing it within North America and they're not importing it. There's nobody smuggling it out of Thailand. Like nobody wants Thai bud.
No,
You know what I mean?
who wants Thai
Yeah.
bud? Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. You see See my bag? I bought
Nice.
that at the
That's
Globe Marijuana Munch. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've
yeah.
had that. I've had that bag for 10 or 12 years. But it comes to work with me. It's not really work, but when I go to events, it's full of my traveling gear. It has my headphones. It's got any spare wires or whatever I need. It's got microphones and stuff in it. So you know, it's on
Extra
duty.
flavors, everything you need, grinders, all that kind of cool stuff tucked away,
Yeah. Oh, I
right?
could put grinders and all that. I got a grinder right beside it. This one's the grinder. Jack.
Yep.
Jack's garage.
Nice. I'm
Grinder
still
right
using
there.
my
Yeah, ran into
Old
Kim.
Faithful.
Ran into Kim Soltarski at the Can Expo. Passed me a grinder.
I'm using my Old
And he sent
Faithful.
me a
This has been
message
the best
tonight.
grinder
Told me,
I've ever had. It's an urban grower. I got that from Sandra and Remo in Montreal, and it's the best dang little thing. So I
oh
got,
wow.
yeah,
So is it one
20.
of those ones with the screen in it?
Yep,
You grind it, it falls through the hole, and it has this. Does it have the screen and then the kiff catcher? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, then the kiff catcher underneath it.
like a space case, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
The
this is the best grinder
yeah,
I've ever had.
yeah. I got a space case, or I had a space case. It's somewhere. I don't know
My
where it
husband's
is
got
now.
my husband's got one.
It's here.
Like big. I can't even put my hands on it to
Big,
grind.
great big one.
Yeah,
Well, they did have big ones. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I ended up the I always found that the screens get clogged on them really quick.
yeah. I used to scrape mine
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all the time. And I've got a cute box. Like I've got this box
Yeah.
here. Like it's a Bud Buddy box, and it's got a screen in it, right?
Yes.
And then you pull the
Yeah.
screen out and it
Yeah.
collects here, right? I've had this thing.
Yeah.
Lisa Kirkman got this for me to replace the one that I bought in Peterborough when I went out there for my first trip to
Okay,
Ontario.
Peterborough. That would probably be at that time Intergalactic Trading Company.
Yep,
Does that name
yep,
sound familiar?
yep,
Intergalactic. Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, there
Mickey
you go.
took me there. So I
Yeah.
bought my first round little key, one of these, right? And they were up
Mhm.
visiting, and somebody put a cigarette in it and wrecked it. So she kindly got one for me in Calgary and replaced the one that was
Right.
wrecked.
Oh,
So
yeah.
anyways, she bought that, and I can't remember. We were still living in Coronation. I've had that for a long time.
Yeah.
A couple,
That's
at least 10 years.
the Intergalactic Trading Company is now. It's now called the Peace Pipe. Peace. Yeah. And yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
Pipe
Yeah.
Dreams. Sorry, not Peace Pipes. Pipe
Nice.
Dreams. There we go. I got it right.
I think I
The other ones, two doors down. But
yeah.
yeah, they're still there. I've got two of those Kif boxes. I got a 7-inch one and I got a 14-inch one.
Yeah, they're pretty handy.
And
Like,
yeah. I got a
yep.
mason jar full of Kif right now that I've got to do something with it.
Well, I did. I also had an order for some edibles, so it was used. So
Yeah.
I don't. I do. I still have some, but
Yeah.
and I don't
Well,
take it too often.
I know my Kif, my small tray, the 7-inch tray, when it's full, it's somewhere around 25 to 28 grams is usually what I get out of it of Kif. And I've squished it and I've used it to roll joints and
Yep.
all kinds of things. But slowly over time, I haven't been able to use it all up. So it just keeps adding up and I use whenever I can use. And
I weigh it out on the
I'm sure I'll
scales
change
gram per gram and use it in all my edibles like I would for a gram of extract.
extracts. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
probably something I should do is just maybe try to
And
just
it
put it
melts
into
in.
some food.
You know what happens when you add heat to it.
Yeah.
So you can use it in making chocolate. You can use it in making candy because as soon as the heat hits it, it's activating it, and then it'll melt down because that's what it does when you hit it with a lighter, right?
No. Now, how does the Kif taste in the chocolate versus let's say infused coconut oil?
It's trichomes, right? So it tastes like cannabis. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
really taste it, right?
Tastes
Like
like cannabis.
you don't
The
really
green
taste.
taste.
No, 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 no. It's
No,
not
no.
a green taste. No, no green, because the greens being
Yeah,
the
because
actual.
yeah, unless
Oh,
unless it got through your screen on in your
right.
rolling
Like
tray,
we
rolling
of
bin.
course
Yeah.
I get that, but yeah, there's really no flavor to it at all. So you know what I mean. So it doesn't really give you any flavoring to it. It just kind of
Oh,
gives
that's
you the
good.
kick.
Well, maybe I haven't done a lot of cooking with it, and maybe I'll give it a go. So
But
I've
yeah,
been just mainly using it for squishing it, or I've been using it to rolling joints.
yeah. Well, switching it's blonde hash, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, well, I'm making rosin out of it. I'm squishing it that way. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, even
heating it
better,
up,
right?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
better.
Just runs. Now it doesn't it doesn't taste as good as flour.
No,
Okay,
no, it
as
doesn't.
far as I'm concerned.
No,
No, no.
there's probably comparable
And
taste to it, right?
it's yeah, and it's nowhere near the color of some really good flour. Like on Sunday, we were at the cannabis temple that Rev Kelly was putting on, and I was there with Mr. Squishy and squishing cannabis, and a guy came in with some, and it was called ice wine, and it was a triple cross, and one of the crosses was G13. So I'm sure you've heard of that. So that's why I mentioned it. I don't know the names of the other ones. I didn't recognize them, but he gave us some. We weighed it out, 14 grams, and we squished it. He told us the temperature he wanted us to squish it at and how long he wanted us to squish it at because he's done it himself, right? And said we get about 3.5 grams out of it. And I'm thinking, well, 3.5 grams, okay. And we ended up getting 5. So we did all right. We did all right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And then
awesome.
you know what he says? It's on the house. Split between you.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
He gave it to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Actually, here. I got it right here.
Nice.
Okay. I got
I
it right
get.
here.
Oh, that
Tamara
looks.
says hi.
Oh yeah, that looks
She must have
beautiful.
heard you say cats outside. So there you go.
Yeah, that
Right?
looks really nice.
I got it on video. I got it on video. I don't have it. I don't have it edited yet, but I do got it on video because I had the camera sitting on the table while we are doing this for about an hour or so. I had it running, and so it catches the conversations, what's going on, and I I have it sitting on a tripod, but I also pick it up and I move it around. So when we're squishing, uh, I bring it right up to the squisher so you can see it and see it running. This stuff was just nice and yellow coming out of there and bubbling, and
Beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. And I'll
We
tell
don't
you
have,
the
there's nobody
nug,
around here that does that either. Like none of the stores do that here. Like it's not like you can bring
yeah,
this into the store and say, "Hey, we make me some rosin." Nobody's doing that. Like,
no, eh?
no, I don't know
Yeah,
anybody
that's
doing like that.
we've had people come in and want us to squish for them. The problem is that it's usually dry,
Yeah, it has.
just
There's
too
got to be
dry. Yeah, it's gotta have some humidity, some moisture in it there. Usually around 62% in
yeah,
order to allow it to help everything flow.
right.
When it's too dry, it's not flowing. There's no yeah. So you
And that's
can't do
hard to
it.
get at
And
the legal market, to be honest. Like to get
pardon
any,
me?
that's hard to get at the legal market unless you're growing your
Yeah,
own. You
right.
really don't have access to that because it's up and fucking part dry sometimes. Like even with
Yeah.
the Bravado, like they, to be fair, they're trying to keep it. Like they're trying to keep it fresh. Like they've got these in the packs,
Oh yeah, okay.
these in the packs, so they've got, and they also use these, and depending on which brand it is, but they use like the, like the Bravada, whatever
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is, right?
correct.
The
Keep
Vitas
the
and
humidity up.
right. They to be fair, they're trying to keep your humidity up in the bags, right? But your
Mm.
cannabis is still,
I don't know.
it's got a bit of a squish to it. But
I don't know anybody who's squished any store-bought cannabis.
see, and I think John Burfello out in Vancouver has. I think he's trying or been
Yeah,
trying
he could have, yeah.
a little bit of a review of things, but I haven't followed it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
no.
I don't know. Well, now you can get it, you know, you can go some places, depends on where you go. You know, in the stores, I know a friend of mine, she gets some stuff that she likes, and it costs her, I don't know, 125 or $130 an ounce. But I
Yep.
also know you can go to the reserve, you can get an ounce for $25,
Yeah.
even $10.
Yeah.
You
So
know, I don't know what it would be like. What's it like? What would it be like to squish cannabis that was, you know, 25, 30, $10, whatever, an ounce? What would it be like?
right.
I haven't tried. You know, it might be worth it just
Right.
to find out. You know, that's what I mean. Spend the 10 or $20, buy the ounce, and squish it and see what
Yeah,
comes up.
search it out. Because that's, ultimately, like, unless you're making oil or something, you don't really know how good your weed is. And if you're and often, you sit and people are putting, letting it soak and their oil's green and black. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you just run it through, man. Make sure the ISO's cool. Put it in the freezer. Come on, like, do it quick. You don't want it, you want it gold. You don't want it black. Oh, but everybody does things their own way, right? Like,
Yeah. Well,
it's,
I have a friend who gave me a couple of jars of oil, of fecal, and I was really glad to see that it wasn't um like really distorted, or it looked really clean. I was really happy with the turnout of it.
yeah, it should be golden. It should be like you should be able to see it.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna say more of the hash oil, a little more brown hash
Yep,
oil
yep,
looking
like a
versus
cherry kind of color.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not the green stuff that I was consuming for several
No, and
years, and
those
it's
types
happened. You know,
of,
when I stopped consuming green oil, that's when I got sick. 6 months later, I got sick. Not even 6 months. Sorry, 4 months.
well,
4 months later.
the green oil or not, it had whatever
Right.
it's in it, right?
Well, that's what I look at the stuff that people are smoking, the green oil. That to me, that's fecal. It's cannabis that's been extracted.
It just sat a little longer than it should. Just got a little
Yeah.
chlorophyll in it.
Yeah. Yeah. All
That's
right. I see we're down. I see where we got 2 minutes left, if that. 2 minutes or less. So let's do the shout out. You got anything shout out you want to say? No.
yeah, to everybody who's going to go out and actually march this Saturday, good for you, and I hope that you go out there. I don't know, like, I'm in Cranbrook, so I won't be marching anywhere. But I hope that everybody, if you know that there's an event out there, go. Because yeah, like Al says, if we
Well,
don't,
I'll tell you yeah, you can always join us if there is one in Toronto, and I can find my way down there.
I would like
Well,
to be
you might
honest,
be able to join us online.
like that's a thing. Like with the coronation going on, they have that part in the park.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
But what, like, what if
I
you go
know.
there? What if you go there and there's nobody there, and you've made that big, huge effort to go down there?
Oh, I know. I might not even be able to get 2 miles within 2 miles of the place.
Yeah.
I know that. I know. I've got some time to do my final decision, but that's what I'm looking at trying to do, anyways, is to go. So, all right, Tamara, it's time to leave. We got less than a minute, and we got less than a minute for closing. So we'll see everybody next week. See you all later. Bye bye. Night.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.